we don't need roads.
Guys, seriously, so good to see you again. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Doing so well. Seriously, I always love seeing you guys, and thank you for always making such incredible films worth talking about. I have 1,000 questions for you. I really do love this idea of creating something like a letter that someone can discover in 30 or 40 or 50 years, and then that letter has like a massive impact on someone's life. Of all the movies that you've been a part of, what's the one you can't wait for someone to stumble across in 50 years to see how it affects them after some time has passed?
It's hard to answer that question without sounding like really impressed with yourself.
Yeah.
Well, I'm impressed with you, so I mean, it's already there.
Which one would you hope would stand the test of time?
I mean, I'm a massive Star Wars guy. I feel like that's probably not like the right, but it's so classic. But I mean, all of your work. I don't know. Is there any of them that like you would be curious to see how time affects?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I guess I'd be interested to see. Shailene and I both worked with this director, Drake Doremus, and made a film called Like Crazy with him. And it'd be interesting to see how that kind of weathered time and whether it was still relevant in sort of years and years to come. But it is interesting how some films just don't last. You know, they're massive at the time, and then even you come back and watch them 10 years later, and they sort of don't hold up. So you never quite know how a film's going to fare in that sense.
I guarantee you, Like Crazy is going to make me cry as hard in 50 years as it did whenever I saw it years ago. So I don't think you're going to have any problem with that holding up. Shailene, what about you? Are there any films that you're curious to see how time affects?
I mean, I guess the only reason I would say this is because I've had a few people come up to me now and say, you know, what happened? The plot line of Divergent seems to be happening in real life right now. So I guess perhaps that one, simply because it is a film that took place in the future, and as the future becomes the present, it'll be interesting to see if things do align with that story or if they don't align, and if our perspectives from the future will look back on that and still feel like we can relate to that story or not.
For sure. I never really do this, Shailene, but I have to show you just because I'm talking to you from Chicago, and I know you guys shot a lot of that film here. I basically live like on the set of Diverging, and I know you guys shot a lot of the stuff at Navy Pier. So I just had to show you that because like I basically like lived where you guys.
What a view, by the way. Beautiful.
Yeah,
thank you. It's mostly for my dog. It's mostly so my dog can look out.
Always for the dogs.
Always for the dog. Always for the dog. I know when it comes to love, we're all sort of trying to figure out what we're doing, and I've always been curious. This isn't meant to be a personal question, but I'm curious if actors learn lessons from their own movies or their own characters that you apply to your have you do you ever like play a character and think like, oh, it's really interesting that the character made that choice. I need to remember that if I'm ever in that scenario.
Yeah, I think you definitely take elements from characters that you've played, and yeah, without a doubt. I mean, not all of them. Some of them become pretty forgettable, and you're happy to forget the whole experience as soon as it's over. But I definitely found with particularly playing Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who obviously was a real person, that had a profound effect on the way that I did things, and particularly I think my confidence in public speaking. I took so much from Ruth because she had, she was quite a shy person naturally, but the way she was able to express and communicate her ideology and her ideas through her written word was extraordinary. And so I definitely carry her with me when I'm in those situations. It's not particularly a love related thing, but yeah, definitely have found that her inspiring.
Oh, that was a great performance. And as we wrap up, whenever I do see a great love story, I always think that like there could be a young person out there who sees this movie, and this is kind of the movie that teaches them what love is. So I'm sort of curious for you guys growing up, what was the pop culture relationship that sort of most introduced you or taught you about love?
E.T.
Yes. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wait, I gotta dive further with that. What did E.T. teach you?
Sort of it's that first time. It is a love story, really, E.T., isn't it? I mean, it is that connection that you have as a child, and that definitely stayed with me. But I mean, in terms of like romantic movies, probably Titanic would have to be one of them.
Always room on the door.
I saw about 3 times.
Always room. Shailene, really quickly, any ones for you?
I mean, Titanic and Dirty Dancing were the two that really like shaped me.
Yeah. Always room for the door and always do a push-up so you can lift someone up in the air. That's the life lessons I took from that. Guys, seriously, thank you so much. I know you have a ton of stuff going on today, so I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me. If you guys ever come through Chicago, you know where I live now, and you're welcome to come hang out with me and the dog anytime.
Thank you.
Lovely. Thanks very much.
Take care, guys. Have a good day.
See you.
Bye.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.